Chapter 18, India, Part 3, Banares, July-August 1971. I'm in my seat on a plane. Our flight is soon in the air, taking me from Kathmandu, Nepal, back to India. I look out my window in anticipation of great views of the Himalayan mountain peaks. The clouds only open up briefly for me to catch a fantastic glimpse at the valley. Then the cloud cover closes up, and I miss out on seeing Earth's greatest mountains from the air. Long live Nepal, Jai Nepal. What a wondrous land and people. The plane lands in Patna, India. The immigration guy only stamps my visa for 1 week stay in India. I pleaded for more time, but he ushered me on through the busy line. I'm sure I will need more time. I'll just have to visit immigration to request another week. I make my way to the train station and purchase a ticket to Banares. I only stayed briefly in the ancient holy city when I was there a month ago. This time I plan on spending some leisurely time in getting to know the place. I board the train and we head down the tracks. It's strange now that I'm a lone traveler without any sidekicks. I miss the company and easy banter I had with Richard and Roger. A local passenger stops by my seat to warn me about robbers on the train. Then he disappears. I've been on the train all day, and now it's the middle of the night. I'm alone in this car, and I cannot see any other passengers, so I'm a little spooked. It's mostly quiet, except for the screeching sounds of the train on the tracks. I restlessly nod off. I arrive in Banares in the early morning at the break of dawn. This great spiritual city of India beckons to me. I catch a cab to the government-run youth hostel. I pay the bill and check into my dorm room. I settle in and unload my gear. It's not too far of a walk to get to the great ghats leading down to the Ganges River. I'm really stoked about being in this city. I share a quick reunion with my old friend Don the Canadian and his buddy. "Hey, Woodstock," says Don. "It's great to meet up with you once again, man. Meet my friend Paul." Donna and I hug. Then I shake hands with Paul. "Nice to meet you." "Yeah, man, it's great to see a familiar face, Don. I've been traveling on my own, not knowing or recognizing anyone since I left Nepal. Why don't you come along with Paul and me to the Ghats, and we will blow some hash that he brought with him from Afghanistan?" "Sure, don't mind if I do." The three of us leave the dorm room and head down to the Ganges and the Ghats together. "What does the word ghat mean, mate?" inquires Paul. "A ghat is simply a flight of steps leading down to the river," I reply. "The ghats are everywhere along the Ganges here in Banares. They extend on and on." Don passes a lit chillum to me. I take a puff and hand it to Paul. We make our way to the entrance of the ghats. "Where are you from, Paul?" I inquire. "I'm an Aussie," he says, "from the land down under, lad." I have some friends I've been traveling with for a couple months who are heading there to wander the outback. "You mean a walkabout like the Aborigines?" responds Don. "No, not quite that, but just a trek through the Australian outback landscape." "Once you get away from the cities on the coast there, it's a lot of unforgiving land, mate," says Paul. "They may find it not to be so much fun doing as talking about it." The specific ghat we're at is called the Ramesh Ghat. An endless procession of people, most of them on pilgrimage, are everywhere. We walk down the flight of steps midway and cop a seat. Paul lights the chillum and we pass it around amongst ourselves. Rhonda, a beautiful, vivacious little Chinese-American girl from New York City, joins us on the steps of the Ramesh Ghat. She snuggles in close to Don. It seems the two of them are an item. The mighty river is bloated. Some of the buildings facing the river are flooded to the second story. You cannot even see all the way across the river, so it has the effect of looking out to sea or an ocean, if not a lake, but it's just this mighty overflowing river that is a collection of the runoff from the Himalayas through the many tributaries flowing into the Ganges. The clerk at the front desk said that this is a near-record flood of the Ganges. The river hasn't been this high since 1947. The ghats are filled with an endless stream of people, natives, pilgrims, sadhus, the holy men of India. I look out in amazement at all the activity. Many of the pilgrims line up for a ritual dip in the Ganges. The four of us enjoy a good buzz as we watch the continuous procession of humanity mingle about at the riverside and on the great expansive steps of the ghats. After a good night's rest at the dorm, I make my way out for a wandering journey alongside the ghats to greet a new day. The sadhus, also known as babas, can look so otherworldly, painted in ash. Some even walk around unashamedly naked, and some of these holy men look like India's original hippies from ages past with their long Rastafarian hair. In America, they would be called hobos or street bums and itinerant beggars. But here in India, these holy men are revered. With their costumes, makeup, and props, many of the sadhus look as if they could be actors for the stage. But this is a real-life commitment experience, 24/7 by 365 for these ascetic babas. They emulate various manifestations of the Hindu deities. What a fantastic spectacle it is as I come across a great gathering of sadhus at the ghats. Some of them carry a fearsome appearance. Some of them painted in ash from head to toe look as if they just crawled out of a grave, zombie-like. I noticed several sadhus in a small gathering circle smoking a chillum of hashish. The holy man shouts, "Alak," before taking a puff. The long-haired naked Baba, covered in ash, passes the chillum to the sadhu next to him. The holy man shouts, "Bom Shiva," then takes a hit from the chillum. The sadhus notice me intently watching them, and they motion for me to come join them. I take a seat amongst them, and the chillum is handed to me. I shout the chillum mantra, "Alak," and proceed to puff the small funnel-like pipe, held upright with my hands around the narrow end, wrapped with a wet cloth to cool the smoke. This is a groovy trip. Wow. I'm hanging with the holy men of India, smoking hashish. I'm getting buzzed. The unique-looking babas radiate a distinct spiritual energy. I feel uplifted in their presence. Once you get past the initial shock of their being, it's all good. They appear very friendly, kind, gentle, and humble. Living the ascetic life and renouncing all worldly possessions, and especially sex, cannot be easy. But these sadhus are so carefree. It's an amazing experience to hang in their company. I spend the whole day roaming the ghats and catacombs of Banares, also called Varanasi. Banares is the ancient name of the city. I enjoy the endless people watching, especially locating the sadhus in a crowd. I see a perpetual parade of Indian peoples of every walk of life, from every area of India and from all castes, making their way to the holy river to bathe in its sanctity on their pilgrimages. Not all holy men smoke hashish. The partakers are just a small minority of the sadhu sects. But when I hear the distinctive chillum mantra call of those hashish-smoking holy men, I come running to see if I may be invited to join in their circle. Paul, Don, and I rent a small rowboat to go out on the Ganges River. What a different perspective to look out at all the people on the ghats from the river. It is an endless stream of humanity. The Hindu culture of the Indian people is very unique. It can be overwhelming at times to absorb it all. The current of the swollen river is so swift that we struggle to get back to our dock. The mighty river is very strong, but I make it back to the ghats with my crew. Everywhere we roam is like a downtown environment of activity. I must repeat, the vast number and variety of people just blows my mind. I think I'm starting to blend in with the local natives. I'm only wearing a small loincloth tied around my legs. Then I have my rubber sandals and a flute strung around my neck. With my long hair out of control, I could resemble some of these sadhus, especially if I spread ash all over my body. In fact, a stranger approached me from amidst the crowds while I was walking the ghats earlier today. "Excuse me, sir. Are you a saint?" the tourist man with camera in hand inquired of me directly. He was excited to take my picture if I was. Oh, no, I laughed out loud in response, shaking my head. But the thought of being mistaken for a sadhu saint has percolated in the back of my mind ever since that brief encounter. Would I be a saint if I behaved like a saint from this moment on? What a thought for me to consider. I have no wish or desire to be a wandering ascetic renunciate like these sadhus, but I do have the driving desire to know my own spiritual holiness, the truth residing in my soul. It's a new day in Banares. Early in the morning, I'm heading back to the Ghats again. I'm taking my red quartz beads with me. I'm going to chant mantras with the sadhus and pray with my prayer beads. Hanging out with the masses of Indians at the Ghats is pure, authentic India. The endless people and misery and stench, the utter poverty and ugliness melds in with the beauty and unique spirituality that pervades everything. As I arrive at the Ghats, it's apparent it will be another scorching hot day. I can feel the heavy humidity in the air. I really do enjoy wearing next to nothing wherever I go. It's the norm for men in this environment. Back home in America, I would never walk around in public like this. But here in India, I'm as free and at ease as a soft breeze blowing in from the Ganges. But here in India, I'm as free and at ease as a soft breeze blowing in from the Ganges. Wow, I like that phrase I just came up with. It flows smoothly from my lips. I repeat it out loud to myself several times as I continue wandering along the Ghats. I momentarily stop at the flight of stairs, still mumbling to myself when I hear a lone voice in the crowd directed at me. "Hello, sir. I can help you with restringing your beads for a donation." I look forward to the direction of the voice to discover it's from a Baba squatting low at the steps. This sadhu holy man is addressing me. He's naked and covered in ash head to toe. Displaying a long, stringy beard, he wears his humongous head of hair wound together in braided swirls atop his head. His lump of hair adds another foot to his height. "Are you speaking to me?" I ask, pointing an index finger at my chest. The sadhu nods at me. "Yes, sir. I can help you restring your beads," he replies. I take the beads from around my neck and hand them to the naked sadhu. He stands up from his squatting position to take the beads from me. "Yes, they do need to be strung," I agree. "You notice my ratty, low-quality string?" "I can do for you," he says. "I'm Baba Giri. I have a nice string right here." He bends down and picks up a long string and hands it to me for my inspection. Indeed, it is a fine leather lace to serve as the holder of my red quartz stone beads. I nod my head in agreement and hand the string back. We proceed to step down one step to sit on the top step of the ghat, while the sadhu restrings my beads. Baba Giri wears a painted yellow egg shape on his forehead. Inside the egg is a circular red dot, thus symbolizing his third eye, I presume. "Om, Om, Om," chants the naked squatting sadhu as he takes my prayer beads apart one by one, restringing them on the new lace. "Are you having darshan?" questions the Baba. "I don't know what that means," I reply. "The main social function of us holy men is to give or radiate spiritual energy." "Like a spirit guide?" I interject. "Yes, maybe could be, but I don't know how exactly what you mean by spirit guide," he responds. "To look at a divine image is called having darshan, and through this perception, spiritual energy is transferred to the taker of darshan." "So each sadhu is thought of as a divine image by the masses?" Yes. Us holy men are worshipped as idols because in appearance and behavior we most closely resemble the gods, says Baba Giri. "Okay, I think I'm understanding better now. Some of the sadhus resemble actors with their costumes, makeup, and props. Then there's the wandering naked men covered in ash like yourself. So each of you are representations of the divine, a God incarnate, so to speak. All of us holy men are emulators of the divine. Actors, as you say, but unlike actors, we live it every moment of every day. A sadhu doesn't get to say, I'm only acting. Now I will go back to my real life. This is our real life. Why are you covered in ash? Ash is symbolic of death and regeneration. I notice you speak English very well. How many languages do you know? I have mastered 8 languages thus far. How do you learn? Do you read books? I study at a temple and various ashrams for Babas. Why did you choose to be an ascetic and give up everything for a lifetime? Everyone has a different story. Some Babas made the decision to join the Sadhu Brotherhood as a way to escape the complexities, stresses, and misery of the modern age. Some just noticed their life purpose in this incarnation. I chose to be a holy man when I was very young, just 12. I cut all ties with family, clan, and caste. I become a disciple to my guru. I choose a free life by casting aside all possessions, comforts, and sensual pleasures. I respect your decision, but it's something I could never imagine doing myself. The main motivating factor of anyone who chooses this life is a strong personal desire for spiritual enlightenment, to connect with the inner light at the core of one's consciousness, says the naked sadhu Babagiri. Now you have me there. I want that for myself too, I exclaim. You have a purpose, young man. Receive my darshan. Open your mind to find the light of your way. Babagiri hands over my new set of restrung beads. They look fantastic. We depend on our sustenance from gifts of devotees. Begging is done out of ascetic principle. I saw a good service I could provide for you when I noticed your great set of beads and a shabby lace. I take 2 beads off the string and drop them into Babagiri's empty begging bowl near his feet. Namaste, Great Holy One. I appreciate the knowledge and service you have provided me. I am grateful. Thank you for your help, Babagiri. Namaste, I say as I bow my head in respect to the sadhu. Later in the day, I continue wandering around the ghats until I run into a familiar face. It's my good friend Debbie, who I spent time with in Nepal. Woodstock, it's you, she says. We both embrace in a long hug, followed by a kiss. I was hoping we would meet again. It's my last day, so we don't have much time. I've got to meet up with Sue and head to the airport shortly. Well, it's wonderful to see you one last time. I've been hanging out at the ghats mostly since I arrived. I found the hog farm. I know where they're staying. I'll give you the address, says Debbie. I love your beads, as you know. I was inspired to buy some beads of my own after seeing yours. Let me compare them. Debbie pulls out some light pink beads from her purse and matches them alongside the deep red quartz beads I'm wearing around my neck. She instantly loses her beaming smile. Yours are deep red and mine are just a pale pink, she complains. I was all happy thinking I found some great beads comparable to yours, but mine looked cheap and washed out when matched up beside your beads. Oh, cheer up, girl. No one will be the wiser because you won't have mine around to remind you. Yes, but I know. Too bad we don't have more time, I say, changing the subject. That was special, what we experienced together in Doolittle. The mountain views and friendly companionship was great. Yes, it was, Woodstock. agrees Debbie. She hands me a business card with a hotel address. On the back, she wrote her home address and number. This is where the hog farm is. Stop in and say hi to all the crazies of the traveling commune. They'll make you feel like family. Oh, I'm well aware of the hogsters. I will check them out for sure, I say, looking over the front and back of the card. Don't forget about me. Call me or write me a letter when you get back home. I've got to get going. Take care, Woodstock. Debbie and I embrace in a long, heartfelt hug. Then a quick kiss on the lips, and off she goes, heading back to England. Today is my birthday. It's August 4, 1971, and I'm now 23 years old. In commemoration of this great personal event, I'm going to Sarnath today, at the Deer Park, the place where Buddha was enlightened. Sarnath is about 20 miles outside of Banares. I pay a few rupees for a horse and a rider on a cart to the Deer Park. Once there, I locate a quiet spot under a tree far off from the congestion of the crowds. I chose to come to this special place on this day in honor to the overflowing spirituality that emanates from this part of the world. I pray and chant mantras while holding my prayer beads, counting as I go through my message. Once I've done a single mantra for each bead, then I change to a quick prayer and go through the beads once again. I fast throughout the day at the Deer Park. The focused, ritualized spiritual activity has uplifted me as I am at peace with myself. I catch another horse cart ride back to town at sundown. The deep, dark, blood-red sunsets of Banares are an otherworldly sight to behold. Just incredible. I'm on a train heading west to New Delhi. Varanasi is quite the scene. What a zoo of people. It blows my mind just to think about it. What a groove to just sit by the holy Ganges River at the Ghats and observe humanity to connect with the sadhus and climb around the wondrous catacombs. The Hindu culture is fascinating and bewildering. In my travels, I'm receiving a deep immersion into the beauty and the ugliness. It is very intense at times. I feel as if I've been brought closer to God through these experiences. Namaste. The train arrives in New Delhi after another all-night trip down the tracks through the countryside of India. I gather my gear and disembark from the train. It's bizarre to me to be in an English-type city in non-English India. I'm so used to the pureness of place that New Delhi is like a quick shock of West trying to merge with the East. I find reasonable accommodations available not too far from the train station. It's a guest house, advertising a vacancy on the sign out front. I register for a couple days with a nice, friendly, middle-aged Indo-British woman who owns it. In a couple of days, I'll be crossing back into Muslim territory when I enter Pakistan. It will be a drastic change in culture. On my last day in Banares, I found the hog farm gang and their bus. What a gas those people are. Everyone is always carefree, happy, and laughing. I hung out with the crew for a few hours. Good people. I never saw the Scandinavian duo, Corinne and Ingrid. Too bad. Those two left a memory in my head to last a lifetime. After dinner tonight, I go to a theater for a movie, something I haven't done since the kibbutz in Israel. On the way back to my guest house, I'm mesmerized by the intoxicating full moon. It is so bright and clear and close to the earth. I've never seen anything like it before. It's a magical moon like the eyeball of God looking down on us earth inhabitants. In fact, this moon at Delhi is a fascinating one, blood red like the sunsets of Banares. I'm walking along transfixed, gazing at the mystical sky, when suddenly I fall into a huge hole in the sidewalk, injuring myself. I was not watching where I was walking, and I'm paying for it now. It's a 2-foot drop, and my ankle is twisted, and my leg is scraped up. I pull myself out of the hole and limp back to the guest house the rest of the way, wiping the blood with my hand to keep it from dripping. I'm back on a train heading to the Pakistani border. There are just too damn many people in this country. A guy just dropped a swing-out bed on the train into my head. Whoa, damn it. My head is swollen and aches terribly now. Plus, I'm already limping around pretty severely, using a stick as a crutch. India has been a great experience for me overall, but I am leaving the country with my body beat up and my head on a downer. The unending poverty in this land is at an unimaginable scale. Beggars and itinerants sleep anywhere and everywhere, even on the dividers between opposing lanes of traffic. It's crazy. There's nothing like India anywhere. I'm at the point of this journey where I'm asking myself, how has this adventure changed me? But I don't have a valid answer yet. I know I'm changed a lot, but how? I'm still me looking out from behind these eyes in this body. I think I need some distance in time and space to put it all into perspective. But I do know one thing. I'm a better man and a more knowledgeable person about the ways of the world than I was when I commenced this journey some 10 months ago.